everyone. This is Commissioner Dave Yamamoto. Today is Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to please mute your phones. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing *6. It's very important for all others to remain muted. So I want to welcome everyone. Thank you for being here this morning with us. Let's do the Commissioner's roll call. Commissioner Bell, are you with us?
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning. And Commissioner Scar?
Good morning, I'm here as well.
Good morning to everyone. So let's just move on very quickly. I think we have, let's see. We should have Eric Swanson with us from Adventist Health. Eric, are you there?
I am. Good morning, Commissioner.
Hey, good morning.
We have 16 patients in the hospital today, plus one brand new baby. No COVID patients today. We are boarding one patient in the emergency department, but that's a physician choice reason. It has nothing to do with the transfer, so that's good news. 5 surgery cases today. 4 of them are elective or non-urgent. Ambulance did 9 911 transports yesterday. No transfers. 1 transport home. The number of hospitalized patients with COVID-19 across Oregon is 192, which is 2 more than yesterday. There are 29 COVID-19 patients in intensive care unit beds, which is 2 fewer than yesterday. 17 of those patients are on ventilators. There's 869 ventilators available across Oregon. There are 105 available adult ICU beds out of 668 total. That's 16% availability. And 356 available adult non-ICU beds out of 4,253. That's 8% availability. For Region 1, we have 51 available adult ICU beds, or 15%. And we have 103 adult non-ICU beds available, which is 5%. So today we are finishing our interviews for our Chief Nursing Officer position. So unless you have questions for me, I'm going to go and meet with one of our candidates.
Thank you, Eric. Any questions for Eric? Eric, I would like you to just give me your thoughts on this. I don't expect a real answer, but we're starting to see news reports of COVID cases rising in China and even in Europe. How concerned are you about those rising numbers?
I'm not the one to ask. I really think I need to defer that to my friends at the health department. I will ask, Commissioner, this afternoon I have President's Council, and I have 2 physicians there. One is Dr. John Bowman, the other is Paul Welch. I will ask them, and then I will email all 3 of the commissioners their response. I don't have that expertise, but their opinion counts a lot more than mine.
That would be great. Again, I'm just curious. I mean, you see these news reports, and you just wonder what it's going to mean worldwide. So I appreciate that very much.
Yep, I will pass that on to you. You guys have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Okay, let's move on to the Coastal Caucus. Who wants to start? I'm not sure who we have on from the Coastal Caucus.
Well, Commissioners, I wonder.
Good morning, Suzanne Weber's here.
Hey, good morning.
Hi, Rep Weber, Dave Gomberg here. Do we have any senators with us? Well, that's perfectly fine. Let's let the House take it away. Suzanne, would you like to begin?
Sure, I certainly would. Well, we're finished our work in Salem, but you know our work never is done. And I wanted to let you know that I have been spending my time working on constituent issues, and some of them successfully and some of them not successfully. I've had an issue with renters having mold in their apartments and not being able to take care of that. And so you can see the kind of thing that people bring to us. And that we try and solve, and that's one of those that's very difficult to deal with. The other thing I wanted to tell you is that today should be a wonderfully sunshiny day, according to all of the news folks, and I don't know if Gordon and our local weather folks would agree with that, but you know that the Sunshine Protection Act is being voted on in Washington at the present time, and by 2023 we have, if all goes well, somebody needs to talk to me, I guess, daylight savings time as a permanent fixture in our lives, and we won't have to worry about changing the clocks and going back and forth. And I think that it will be a boon to all of our school children and all of the rest of us alike. So that's one thing that I think that we can look at as on a positive note nationally. Otherwise, I would like to congratulate our FFA degree recipients who spent this last weekend at a conference. There's Bernice Harris, Haley Ellerbrook, Ryan Mazzei, and Caleb Fletcher, and I want to congratulate you on your FFA work. FFA is in Tillamook is a very important organization, and it is wonderful to see our local students excelling also on a higher level. Yesterday, I had a meeting with the Port of Garibaldi and looked at all of the plans that they have for the future, and talked about the progress of the South Jetty and how that is going. And of course, things cost more in the end than they do initially, but I think that it's all going to get worked out, and I think that that will be a real boon to our Port of Garibaldi. And I think that that's all I have to report today. And I once again want to thank you for doing this. And initially, I also failed to recognize one of the loss of one of our farmer advocates in this area, Dale Buck, good friend of mine, a good friend to farmers, and a good friend to Tillamook County. And I can't go without saying how much all of his involvement in promoting Tillamook County, all the years that he spent putting together the exhibit at the state fair and handing out Tillamook cheese, did not go unnoticed. And we thank him for that, and we appreciate all the work that he put in for Tillamook County, and he will be sorely missed. So that's all I have to say today. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Weber. I do want to also mention that Dale was instrumental in all of the work at OSU Extension, and I worked very closely with him there, and that was quite a loss. It really is. I'm so sorry about that. One other point I'd like to make, permanent daylight savings time. I mean, I'm all for not changing clocks. But personally, and I know that there's kind of a dichotomy here. Personally, I would like it to be permanent standard time. But it is what it is, and I am looking forward to not having to change clocks in the future. I think that would be great. So,
well, good morning, Commissioners.
Yeah,
good morning, Commissioners. And good morning, Tillamook County. Goodness, Dale, such a lovely guy and such a remarkable advocate for Tillamook County. I was thinking about him toward the end of the legislative session when Dairy Days was scheduled, and I just want to paint a picture for you because the Capitol was nearly empty, and the dairy crew showed up with their ice cream and yogurt and other cheese treats, and Rep. Weber and I stood up on the floor, and I had to push the privilege button, which is a special button that allows you to interrupt the proceedings, because we were in the middle of reading a long bill, and the computer was reading this bill out loud for us, and they stopped the reading and called on the two of us, and we announced that it was dairy days and that the dairy crew was out there in the outer lobby with a lot of supplies from Tillamook County, and the room emptied out. It just emptied out as people went out and formed a long line to get their ice cream and their cheese and everything else. Well, Commissioner, standard time, savings time, my goodness, one way or the other, it's not a matter of changing the clocks. Gosh, most of the clocks change themselves now. It's simply a matter of getting out of bed and feeling horrible. Honestly, I don't care which of them we choose as long as we pick one and stay with it. And you're right, I get mail every day. Some saying we want standard, some saying we want daylight. 3 years ago, the Oregon legislature voted to stay with daylight savings time, and so did Washington and California. But our federal government took their time getting around to approving that change. Well, fortunately, they're moving now, and I expect that this is the last time that we'll have to change our clocks. I'm certainly hoping that is the case. I wanted to share with you, as Rep. Weber suggested, we're back from the Capitol, and now we are fully submerged in what I call the interim lifestyle. So instead of running back and forth to Salem and debating measures and budgets, we are now running around our large, sprawling districts. And I am going to ribbon cuttings, and I'm going to organizations and schools. I am meeting with, last week I met with a group of fire chiefs in the morning and Senator Jeff Merkley in the afternoon. So there's something going on every single day. The highlight of this past week for me was doing a town hall, and it was a virtual town hall, but we did something a little bit different. It was organized by our community college, and they set it up so that both Senator Anderson and I were at the meeting taking questions and talking to people. So what you had is a senator and a representative, but also a Democrat and a Republican, and that made the situation a little unusual. And I think that people were interested to hear that more often than not, we agreed with each other, and that we worked civilly and congenially with each other, and we focused on trying to get things done for the coast and for Oregon. And that's the way it should be, but sadly, so often that's not the case. If anybody's interested in listening to that town hall, it was organized by not Tillamook Bay Community College, but by Oregon Coast Community College in Lincoln County, and they've got it on their webpage, and you can log in and listen to the entire program. And I encourage you to do that and hear about the bills that did pass and the bills that did not pass, and the budgets that passed, and where we made investments with the money, particularly the dollars that are coming in from the federal government. You've heard me say before that during a long legislative session that we can introduce as many bills as we want. In the short session, bills are limited, and only 275 were introduced. 126 of them eventually passed and were sent on to the governor, so there's a dramatic difference. And I would say that there were a lot of issues you probably read a lot about that did not pass, including a potential sales tax, legislative pay increases, and self-service gasoline are examples of bills that did not pass. Big bills that did pass include, of course, ag overtime, which we've talked about quite a bit, the Forest Accord, purchasing the Elliott Forest, and some other measures like that. So log into to the town hall, listen to what's going on, and let us know if you have any questions. I'm not going to take a lot of time today. I did want to mention one coastal issue that we're seeing some activity on with the Department of Fish and Wildlife has to do with our sea stars, which we tend to refer to as starfish, that are continuing to suffer from wasting, and we're taking some steps to protect starfish. At the same time, we are removing protections on green crabs, which are proving to be invasive and harmful to the ocean environments and harmful to other crab species, most particularly our state crustacean, the Dungeness crab. So they are changing the rules so that you can harvest up to 35 green crabs rather than the standard limit of 10, and hopefully that will have an impact on their proliferation. And by the way, I hear they're really good to eat, so check out some green crab recipes and go catch some. It'll be good for you, and it'll be good for Oregon and the Oregon coast as well. So I'll pause at this point, Commissioners, see if you have any questions about any of that or anything else.
Thank you, Representative Gomberg. Do we have any questions for Representative Gomberg or Representative Weber? Hearing none. So I just want to double check. Do we have either Senator Anderson or Senator Armitage with us? Representative Gomberg, Representative Weber, thank you so much for being here. We do appreciate it so much.
Well, thanks for having us every week, and thanks to Cage Hill Radio for putting this on their list of podcasts so that people who aren't with us at 8 o'clock in the morning can come back and listen later.
Perfect. Thank you. Let's move on to the Tillamook County Community Health Center. I know we have Marlene Putman with us and possibly Ed Colson.
Good morning. Yes, Ed is not with us today, so I'm covering the report. It's been a little while. I appreciate the opportunity to join you today. So I'll go through our report information pretty much following the normal format. Just by way of reminder, please continue to bring a mask with you to your appointments at our office and any other health service office to protect the employees, visitors, and so everyone 5 years of age and older is required to wear a mask or face covering in healthcare settings. Children between the ages of 2 and 5 years of age are strongly encouraged to wear a mask or face covering. This is still the requirement under the rules with our Oregon Health Authority at this time. So moving on to our data, our COVID-19 data, the weekend case count was 4. We like to see those low numbers. 7-day, 10. 14-day case count is 17. Our total cases for March were 28. Again, like to see those lower numbers. The total cases to date from March 2020 through March of 2022 is 3,624 positive COVID-19 cases. A couple of years now. I know we're all getting tired. Our total COVID-19 related deaths are 60. For those that are really watching those figures carefully, that was an increase by 2 from the previous week as 2 COVID-19 related deaths were recently reported. They actually occurred in January, so keep an eye out for the news release information there. It's available at tillamookchc.org. As a reminder, deaths are determined to be related to COVID-19 only if they meet those criteria that are listed by the Oregon Health Authority COVID-19 investigative guidelines. Again, if you're interested in those, you can just do a quick search on the Oregon Health Authority's COVID-19 page under COVID-19 guidelines, and that's in section 7. Our total COVID-19 related hospitalizations have been 139, and thank you, Eric, for providing information and updating us on the bed capacity there. Active outbreaks, we have 1 that's reportable and 12 under monitoring at this time. Our 7-day case positivity rate is at 3.8%. So again, we'd like to see those numbers going down. So on the vaccination side, as of March 20th, 80.6% have initiated COVID-19 vaccination and have received at least 1 dose. So we're over that 80%, which is good. 74.4% have completed their primary series, so both the first and second dose, at least. 44.9% have received an extra dose of the COVID-19 vaccine in addition to completing that primary series. I know that you had some questions, Commissioner Yamamoto, as well as other people in our community about what's happening with the BA variant of the COVID-19 virus. So first of all, the BA2 variant is a variant of Omicron, or Omicron, however you want to pronounce it, meaning it too is genetically related to the original Omicron strain, or BA1. So it has to be related genetically to be classified as a new variant. According to the Oregon Health Authority, so far, BA2 has caused less than 1% of COVID-19 cases in Oregon. So that's based on data from, well, not that number, but our information based on data from Denmark and the UK. OHA reports that the BA2 variant is about 33% more transmissible than BA1, more transmissible. The Omicron variant and that BA2 currently represents a very small portion of cases in the US right now. Less is known about BA2 when it comes to the severity of the illness it causes, but researchers are gathering new data all the time. So there's a lot of stuff that you'll hear. You may hear it on the radio, you may see it in the news coming out, daily, weekly. But right now, according to the World Health Organization, preliminary research and real-life data from Denmark, South Africa, and the UK suggests that BA2 doesn't differ from BA1 in disease severity. Just remember, though, people who are unvaccinated or people who are in that high-risk category, immunocompromised, etc., still are at risk for hospitalization and severe disease. The future of BA2 isn't clear. In some countries, BA2 surpassed BA1 as the dominant strain, but hasn't led to more deaths or severe disease. Importantly, Oregon health officials do not expect BA2 to cause another surge, even if it becomes prevalent. Oregon Health Authority officials are committed to regularly monitoring the variant and the circulation of COVID-19 variant across the state. So they're using sequencing positive test samples and wastewater studies. With this kind of surveillance, experts can tell whether one variant is becoming more dominant. If BA2 suddenly starts causing more cases, OHA will know and be able to provide an update to us and response. If you want to read more about BA2, you can look on the Oregon Health Authority's COVID-19 information page. So that's just an overview of what's happening right now with the variant and how we're tracking that. If people are interested and need testing and vaccination, COVID-19 testing and vaccines are available from most healthcare offices in Tillamook County. That includes our main clinic here at 801 Pacific in Tillamook. Appointments are often required for this. Some places allow you to just come in and request. Please try to call just so that staff can be prepared at these facilities. For us, you can call our main number at 842-3900. Our health center also received a new rapid test machine, which is called a BD Veritor. This machine allows us to test for COVID-19 and the flu. We just use a single swab on site, and we'll be able to start using this new machine next week. So if you're looking for a rapid test and concerned about one or both of those, we can do a really quick test on a new machine. Rapid testing for COVID-19 and COVID-19 PCR tests, we use LabCorp facilities, and those are also available for us to send tests through. Home test kits are also available from community-based organizations in Tillamook County and through our library branches for pickup. Many of you may have already noticed that the federal government made an additional 4 COVID-19 home test kits available for free, and there's mail delivery. If you want to find those, you can always just Google the free COVID-19 home tests or go to covidtests.gov to order. Again, people have pointed out that those tests may expire soon, but they are available, and we don't know entirely what's going to happen with the variant and whether there will be some rush on testing. So if you're interested in those tests, please check that out. While COVID-19 vaccines are the best method for prevention, reducing disease spread and reducing disease severity, if you do have a positive test, there are several safe and early treatment options for COVID, including antiviral oral medication. We've been talking about this for months. Some treatment options need to be started as early as 5 days from the date of a positive test. So contact your provider or pharmacist as soon as possible to talk about those options. Information on COVID testing, treatment, care, and vaccines is available on our website at tillamookchc.org, or you can call 211. If you have COVID-related questions or need additional support, you can still contact our public health nurse line at 842-3940, and we will get back to you hopefully the same day, but for sure within 24 business hours. Thank you for letting me share all this information, and that is my report. Happy to answer any questions or do some follow-up research if needed.
Thank you, Marlene, for being here. Do we have any questions for Marlene Putman? Just a couple of things. So I appreciate the update on the mask requirements. We can't forget that public transportation, healthcare settings, things of that nature, masks are still required. So that's a great reminder for everyone. One other question. You mentioned being fully vaccinated, and you were talking about the 2-shot series. So being fully vaccinated does not require a booster. Is that correct?
It doesn't require a booster.
Perfect. Again, I just didn't know when we're talking about being fully vaccinated whether that was the case or not. So I do appreciate that so much.
I'll double check on that in case there's been any change, but that's my understanding, and I'll make sure I get the information out to you. A booster just means that you're up to date on all those vaccines. So again, we'll make sure we get that information out in our social media and out to you, commissioners, in case you get other questions.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that very much.
People are sending me some information from my team to see what they...
How about that?
They're like, wait, not... And there's definitions on our website. Not fully vaccinated, about fully vaccinated, up to date, not up to date, and all those definitions are on our page. So there's all those categories if you want to look at the specific details about how it all works. And there's little tables that describe that. So you can look there, but I'll make sure to send those links to you as well, Commissioner.
Amazing how there's not just a yes or no answer to all of this. It's all very complicated. It is. Thank you so much for the report. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. Gail Nelson. Gail, are you with us this morning?
Yes, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Thank you, Marlene, for your updates. Always appreciated, especially with the variant information. Here at the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy, we also still have supplies of N95 masks and at-home COVID rapid tests here at the health center and at the pharmacy that we are distributing to anyone who needs them. Please give us a call at 800-368-5182 with any questions. Also, we, just like our partners, continue to remind people that face masks are still required in healthcare facilities here and throughout the county. Thanks to the Oregon Health Authority for providing our posters and other materials that we use to emphasize this. And finally, the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy, our partners at CARE and also Tillamook County Community Health Centers, are partnering with the Nehalem Bay United Methodist Church in Nehalem to hold a resource event on Wednesday, March 30th from 1 to 3 for people in the county and Tillamook County who lack a safe, stable place to call home. Reinhardt, the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy's outreach team plans to contribute supplies and materials for this event. And that's my update for this morning, unless there are any questions.
Thank you so much, Gail. Appreciate that. Any questions for Gail? Thank you for being with us this morning.
You're welcome.
It's my understanding that Frank Hannah Williams could not be with us this morning from Tillamook Family Counseling Center. So let's move on to the Sheriff's Office. And do we have Sheriff Brown with us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. Good morning.
Good morning. Sorry, I was couldn't get it unmuted quite fast enough. I don't have a whole lot of stuff to talk about today. Just one big thing that did happen last week. We celebrated the retirement of Deputy Kelly Awe. He's been a Sheriff's Office employee and deputy for the last 22 and a half years. Quite an accomplishment, and we're very proud of the work he's done and very happy that he gets to retire and move on to the next chapter of his life. He has said that he will come back and help cover some shifts in the jail, which has been wonderful because if anybody follows our Facebook page, you'll notice there was a group of guys in the photo, Deputy John McKillop, Deputy Mike Fox, Deputy Dave Jungling, Deputy Scott Kilgore, and now Deputy Kelly Awe, who have all retired and moved on to the next chapter of their life, but have all come back and helped cover shifts. So we're lucky to have a team of guys like that with their knowledge base, and we are very happy for Kelly, and we wish him the best of luck and hope to see him here pretty soon. Other than that, I don't have much more. We did have kind of a somewhat active week last week, but a lot of those things that we dealt with are still in the investigation stage, not quite ready to be discussed. So, but I can take any questions if anybody has any.
Thank you, Sheriff, for being here. Do we have any questions for Sheriff Brown? Thank you so much, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Move on to emergency management. Randy Thorpe. Randy, are you with us? Randy, are you there?
Hey, this is Gordon.
So I know, eventually we have Gordon McCraw. Gordon, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
Barely,
hear me?
you're very faint.
Okay, I get the microphone close so you can probably hear.
There we go.
Okay, yeah, Randy had a medical appointment this morning, so he asked me to fill in.
Perfect.
I will mention that yesterday I spoke with Dan Weber with ODOT and in regards to that slide area on 101 milepost 47 up near Wheeler. He indicated to me that it's still active and that they have put up a temporary screen that helps keep the falling rocks contained. He did say they've hired a contractor and that they're assessing the next course of action and that the road will continue to be restricted to one lane with flaggers for sure the rest of this week. And then the next week, I suggest that this week they will likely make a determination on how to proceed with the construction, and maybe it could begin next week or the week after. So I don't really expect the road to be fully open for at least 2 to 4 more weeks. And I'll remind everyone that traveling through there should plan to expect plan and expect a 20-minute delay to get through the area. So please drive extra carefully when you go through the construction area. I also noticed in a report that ODOT is expecting to do some work on Highway 6 up at Mill Bridge Road near milepost 5.68 to Rush Road, which is milepost 5.83. Their crews are going to be working on the bridge to install containment and sandblast as preparation for repainting, and they expect the single lane closure to continue through the end of March. But with schedules changing, or they are just saying due to the weather, that you can expect some changes maybe. As part of the project, they're also removing the rust, repainting, and replacing about 100 rivets and bolts. Also got a note from Oregon Emergency Management, who is also suffering through staffing shortages, and everything there is being delayed. Add to it the unprecedented workload from the recent disasters, including the COVID stuff, and you can see that their normal workload is escalated. With a reduced manning, it makes it very difficult for them, and so they've been making some temporary changes and looking for other agencies to do some temporary job rotation to help them with their resource gaps. So it's been hard for everybody. And finally, I agree with Representative Weber. The weather today should slowly improve. We have high pressure moving in, and that means we'll have some sun this afternoon. And in fact, with the high pressure, you could see temperatures in the mid-60s. You can expect another weak cold front to push in with some more light rain or drizzle late tonight, though, through tomorrow morning, then another ridge and drier weather for tomorrow night through Thursday. But Friday, that ridge weakens and moves off ahead of another system that gives us a chance of rain anyway, Saturday morning. And then by Sunday, the ridge is moving off to the east as it weakens, and we wind up with a zonal flow, which means west to east, which provides those little disturbances of a path and a roadway to move in over our area. So I would say there's a chance of rain off and on Sunday and Monday, possibly into Tuesday and Wednesday, however long this zonal flow sets up. One could almost say it is spring-like, and yes, hopefully everybody knows, but spring officially started this past weekend. And that's all I have today. Thank you very much.
Thank Thank you so much, Gordon, for being here with all that cheerful news about rainy weather. Appreciate it so much. Okay, let's move on to the Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Bell, would you like to start?
Good morning. I'd be happy to.
Good morning.
Well, I wanted to say a few words about Dale Buck also. Dale was a pillar of the ag community, and he died last week, sadly. And I just wanted to tell a little story about Dale. I met him when I was volunteering for the Oregon State Fair Tillamook County exhibit. And Dale and his wife Jackie put together a Tillamook County exhibit for the Oregon State Fair every year. And it was a tremendous job. It was a huge job because the state fair goes on for 10 days and they needed multiple volunteers for each day of the 10 days. And they needed so much cheese, so many hundreds of cheese, and to transport all the supplies to the fair and keep the booth updated, refreshed with more supplies, and it really was an outstanding booth. And I'm sorry that we don't have it anymore. I wish we did, but the reason we don't is because we don't have Dale, and he hasn't been able to do it for the last couple of years because he lost his wife Jackie, and it was such a big job that it seemed like Dale was the only person who could do it, which of course isn't true, but no one else has stepped up yet. But it was that was how I got to know Dale, because he trained me to work in the booth and spent some time with me in the booth and spent some time with me before I went, and he was just wonderful. He was such a great ambassador for Tillamook County, and such a great ambassador for the ag community, and such a good, kind human being. And I liked him so much, and I didn't know him nearly as well as others. Former Senator Johnson called me the day Dale died, and she was just brokenhearted about his loss, and she said that I learned more about ag and ag communities from Dale Buck than from anyone else. He changed the way I saw rural agricultural communities. And so every so often someone passes who is just irreplaceable, and I think Dale is one of those people, and I was very sorry to hear of his passing. And I think that's all I want to say today. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bell. Appreciate that very much. Commissioner Scar.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning.
I will comment on a couple of things that are coming up that people may want to participate in. The first one is there is a Safety on 6 town hall that has been organized for March the 30th, and it is a virtual town hall. Jesse Burrow, who's been working on the Safety on 6 diligently, has worked with Senator Weber to get, I forget the number of the House bill that was passed, but to do a study on Highway 6, and is really focused on keeping everyone aware and increasing the safety. So the town hall is virtual. You can find the link to that if you go to the Tillamook County webpage, and on the main webpage of the county, there's a calendar link. And if you click on that calendar link, it will give you the call-in number to participate if you would like to do that. It is the main call-in number for the Board of Commissioner meetings. So if you already have that, it's the same link. And that is going to be oh shoot, I'm gonna grab the calendar to make sure I give you the right time on that one. I believe it starts at 5. So please do join Jesse on that call. I think it should be a good opportunity to talk about all of the things that have happened so far. ODOT has been exceptional. I'm sorry, it's 6 p.m. ODOT has been very responsive to community requests for things that they're able to do up there, and having the study bill will give us an opportunity to really understand the issues and to begin to really get in line for bigger money from ODOT and hopefully through the infrastructure bill. So Wednesday the 30th, 6 p.m. Please feel free to join us all at the Safety on 6 Town Hall. The other thing I want to talk about quickly is ARPA funds, the county's ARPA funds. We've been talking about this since December when we opened up the application for community and county departments to let us know what the needs were for that funding. We will be finalizing our awards for that funding at tomorrow's Board of Commissioner meeting. If you're interested in that, again, on the calendar, you can find Board of Commissioners meeting, and you can link through to our agenda and get the list of what we are currently proposed to fund. There are over 30 projects for an amount of $4.7 million. So we invite you, if you're interested to know what was chosen, take a look at that list. I won't go through it all here, but there's a broad range of projects from infrastructure to childcare. So there's just a little bit of everything there, trying to address issues of COVID and needs of the county. I am also starting a new project, a community project here called the Water Knowledge Project. And I'm working with a consultant that has been provided through the Association of Oregon Counties. And we are going to do a broad community inventory of water issues. In Tillamook County, it seems like most commonly we have the issue of too much water, while the rest of the state has the issue of drought and not enough water. But we know as we look at the increasing drought, we are beginning to see the issues of that here as well, and I'm not sure that everyone's aware of that. So as a county, we are going to do this inventory to really seek to understand all of the issues relating to water. We know that we have quantity issues, quality issues, we have usage issues, recreational issues, lots of pieces that come into this conversation. We're in the planning stages now, but within the next 3 to 4 weeks, you'll begin to see some information coming out into the community as to how you can get involved and share with us your thoughts and any knowledge that you have related to issues of water in Tillamook County. So this is just sort of a teaser on that. It's coming, so be aware and kind of keep your eyes out for that. And with that, I will turn it back to you, Commissioner Yamamoto.
Thank you so much, Ms. Carr. Appreciate that report. So just a couple of things that I want to bring up. I testified a week and a half ago before the OTC, Oregon Transportation Commission. State of Oregon got a little tranche of money, $93 million. And this is coming from the federal government. And it was the intent of Congress that at least half of this money be shared, even though it went to the state, would be shared with local governments, especially counties. Well, as soon as the state and ODOT got that money, there was an announcement by ODOT that, well, they have so many projects that they need to finish up that they didn't feel that there would be any monies available for local government out of that $93 million. And this kind of goes along with the original CARES dollars that came out in 2020 after the pandemic started. Again, it was supposed to be money that went to the state, but it was supposed to be at least partially directed to the counties and local government. And at the very end of the CARES dollars, the state did dribble out some leftover monies that they had. But the vast majority absolutely did not come to local government. The commissioners across the country really did vociferously disagree with that, and we had a lot of conversations with Congress. So when the ARPA funds came out in 2021, last year, they directed the money that was supposed to come to local governments directly to the local governments. So all the cities and the counties across the nation got their ARPA funding directly from the federal government because that's what Congress had deemed the responsible thing to do. But now they're backtracking a little bit, and now with this newest small tranche, $93 million of transportation funds, they again said that it should be distributed also to counties and municipalities, and they're not doing that. So there were several commissioners from across the state that testified before the Oregon Transportation Commission. Whether that's going to have make a difference or not, I don't know. I wouldn't hold my breath. But you have to understand, especially with counties, counties are responsible for well over 60% of the road mile in the state of Oregon, and I think it's much higher than that. We have the vast majority of bridges and culverts in the state. The state is responsible for some major highways, major bridge projects, things of that nature. But with all the culverts and bridges we have in Tillamook County that are owned by the county, again, and as you know out there, that our bridges and culverts are not in the best of shape. Over the past few months, we've had to load rate several bridges and do some emergency repairs to those. So again, we'll see what the state does with that money. I'm not hopeful, but it never hurts to go directly to the source, which in this instance is the Oregon Transportation Commission. The other thing I'm working on very diligently is, of course, the Council of Forest Trust Land Counties. I'm chair of CFTLC, and we've been working with the Department of Forestry and the Board of Forestry, although mostly against the Department of Forestry and the Board of Forestry, about a lot of issues, but the big one coming up is the HCP. So this is the draft EIS for the HCP. Don't you just love all these acronyms? So what it is a draft environmental impact statement for the Habitat Conservation Plan being developed by the state. And so I know acronyms are made to make things shorter, but the draft EIS was 1,850 pages. And small type, it's quite a document to have to go through. But we are very concerned at this point about that draft environmental impact statement. The department, a couple of times in the development of this HCP, has put up proposed harvest levels that they would anticipate once an HCP were to go into place. And every time they change it, the harvest levels come down. Well, in our first review of this draft environmental impact statement, again, we see that the department is, if they abide by this draft environmental impact statement, harvest revenues to the counties, to the trust counties, is going to go down again. And this time it looks like they may go down pretty steeply. So we are all over this. I don't know what's going to happen. Kate Skinner, who is the Tillamook State Forester, great. I love Kate. She is terrific. But she is the interim Liz Dent now at the Department of Forestry. Unfortunately, in my conversations with her, I asked her if she was going to apply for the job, and she said no. And I do understand why. I mean, this is a very high-profile job, lots of pressure, very political. I understand why she doesn't want it. She would be great at it. She really would be. The relationship with the Council of Forest Trust Land Counties Board and the Board of Forestry is not the greatest. So she has set up a meeting with the Council of Forest Trust Land County Board and the Board of Forestry for early May to have a presentation of this draft environmental impact statement so that we can have a conversation directly with the Board of Forestry, which is terrific. Again, she wants to bring the Board of Forestry and the Board of the Council of Forest Trust Land Counties closer together. It is unfortunate the way I'm looking at this right now. It's early, and I'm hoping things will change. But we're going to have major issues with the Board of Forestry coming up, and I just don't see any way around that. If our first read of this draft environmental impact statement is correct, this is going to get very, very difficult. It really is. At the same time, we are seeing a little bit of movement from the state on the Linn County class action lawsuit, $1.065 billion, actually closer to $1.2 billion right now, if you add in the interest that's been accruing. But again, we'll wait and see. As our treasurer, Sean Blanchard, says, this isn't over until she has that check deposited in the bank. So again, there's just so much going on, but I will call it quits there, and we will move on. So let's go to the city of Manzanita. Mike Scott. Mike, are you with us?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
So we've decided up here that we're going to go ahead with our 4th of July parade this year. We've had a 2-year hiatus from that, so we're going to go back to it on the 4th of July. We held both a pre-budget meeting and a full agenda planning commission meeting yesterday as we continue to manage a rather robust building boom that we're experiencing up here in North County. So we're staying pretty busy. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that report very much. How about the city of Nehalem? Melissa Thompson-Kiefer or anyone from the city of Nehalem? How about the city of Wheeler? Doug Honeycutt? City of Rockaway Beach? Sue Wilson, are you there? City of Garibaldi? Mayor Hall, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Good morning.
Nothing to report for Garibaldi this week. Everyone have a good week.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate that so much. City of Bay City, David McCall, are you with us? City of Tillamook, Nathan George. Nathan. Boy, very quiet this morning. Last but certainly not least, South County, Doug Olson. Doug, are you there?
Oh, good morning, Commissioner. I am here.
Good morning.
Just a couple of things. First of all, Tillamook Lightwave, our organization that is composed of the county, the port, and Tillamook PUD, scheduled to meet today, but we canceled the meeting because it's spring break, and it turns out a couple of the main contract people that we use to maintain and expand the system are gone, and several others of our key staff, so we decided spring break, not the best time to hold a meeting, so we'll resume in a couple of weeks. Second from that, I wanted to mention the Pacific City Nestucca Valley Chamber has scheduled what is basically an annual event now. In fact, we do it 2 times a year, depending on the elections. Candidates Forum on April 7, which is a Thursday evening. It will be at the Kiawanda Community Center, start at 6:30 and probably run for an hour and a half, maybe a little more. And we have invited, and I believe nearly all have confirmed, candidates for the Oregon legislature, including House District 32 and Senate District 16. Those are the 2 that include all of South Tillamook County, in fact, all of Tillamook County. We've also invited 2 candidates for the Tillamook County Commission. We've invited also the county treasurer that has, I believe, just 1 candidate, and also the district attorney, where there's 1 candidate. Even though they have no competition, it's a good opportunity to ask these people what their job is like or what are they doing and all those kinds of things, and look them in the eye and shake their hand. And by the way, this is in person at the Kiawanda Community Center. And then finally, we also have 3 of the main money measures that will appear on the Tillamook County ballot, including the Veterans Service Levy, and Tillamook Bay Community College is asking voters to support a new building to offer a nursing program. And then the Library District, which is all of Tillamook County, will ask voters again to support a cereal levy to keep the library doors open and moving. So we'll have all the knowledgeable expert people and candidates in the room in person. And so this is a good time to come down and have a cup of coffee and a cookie and ask these people exactly what they do and how they do it, or maybe why they do it. So grassroots government's at its best, and that's April 7, 6:30 p.m. at the Kiawanda Community Center. So thank you all. Good morning, and we'll talk next week.
Thank you so much, Doug, for that report. Appreciate it so much. Anything for the good of the order? So I want to thank everyone for being here with us this morning, and a special thank you to KTIL for broadcasting this event live. We do appreciate it so much. With that, time being, let's see, my clock's off. 8:54 a.m. We will adjourn this community call. Thank you, everyone, for being here.